Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and there were so many WTF moments in this week's Walking Dead, we just need to get right in it. A whole bunch of plot points were tied off from earlier in the season, and there was a major homage to a scene from the comic books. Quick shout out to my giveaway. If you're finding me for the first time, just as a way to say thank you to all you guys for being so awesome, I'm doing a weekly Walking Dead giveaway just for all my review episodes. All you have to do to participate is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'll be announcing the winner during my Q&A video tomorrow night. We have some major stuff to work through here, so I'm going to do my top 5 WTF moments, and then I'm going to do my review. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, but here we go. Number 5, Lizzie's new friend Griselda. There was so much that was wrong about this. Did anyone else scream at their TV? Her performance, the actress that is, was just a little too much, but we got the message. Lizzie is batshit crazy. The best part was seeing Carol get that look on her face. The look that says, I'm so going to end up having to put Lizzie down. Then the camera pans over to Tyrese and he gets that what the fuck face. It was beautiful. It's pretty clear, even this soon in the episode, that Lizzie is going to be a major problem. She's going to be the antagonist of this episode. That means that she's become a bigger threat than the walkers, running out of food, or finding the others. Number 4, Lizzie feeding the walker. What the F? At least we finally got a definitive answer about who was feeding the walkers. This was so disturbing. Lizzie shall make you understand. Based on the scenes in the teaser, I knew she wasn't going to get bitten or die this soon in the episode, but the minute her hand reached out, I just wanted to slap her. It seems like, in her mind, she's seeing all of them as they were and just can't move forward. Developmentally, she's stuck at the point of the outbreak, before everything went to hell. You'd think if a walker was nearby, you would do everything you could to stay as far away as possible. Number 3, Tyrese tells Carol about his Karen nightmares. The irony of this scene was just beautiful, with Carol in the foreground and Tyrese just going on and on about Karen. Remember earlier in the episode where he's asleep on that chair jerking around? I bet he was having a Karen nightmare right then. I really did expect Carol to come clean whenever she did go to speak, but I'm glad she saved the moment for later. Did anyone else laugh just a little bit when Tyrese went to hug her and he had that gun in his hand when he wrapped it around Carol? It's like they were saying that murder is just around the corner, which is why that next moment that came after it was just so appropriate. Number 2, Lizzie kills her sister. She goes full on Ben, and she was about to change, quote-unquote, Judith too. Everyone had been wondering if the girls were going to take the place of Ben and Billy, and it went down exactly the way it did in the comics. Here's a shot of Ben right after killing his brother. The only difference is that Carl was involved in the resolution of that, and in this episode, it's Carol. After seeing Lizzie's character progression this season, and in this episode, I don't think there's any other way her plot could have ended. Even if they had made it to Terminus together, Lizzie still would have continued doing the same things, and because her sister was so attached to her, she would have either been killed by a walker because of Lizzie, or by Lizzie herself. So unless Lizzie had turned and been killed by Carol or Tyrese, she would have killed her sister no matter what. And my number 1 WTF moment, Carol kills Lizzie. Just look at the flowers and count 1, 2, 3. Because I'd already read the comic story, I kept expecting this to happen because the earlier killing was so much like it was in the comics. I think they made it a little more emotional since Carol was kind of like their surrogate mother. I had actually expected her to shoot Lizzie on the spot whenever she got the gun out of her hand. I wasn't a huge fan of the transitions from that moment to them going into the house, talking about Lizzie, to Carol going and shooting Lizzie. The pace just felt a little stop and go, and I had hoped that Lizzie's death would have been a little more intense. There was a lot that they chose not to show us in the episode. They didn't show Lizzie stabbing her sister, and they didn't show the bullet hitting Lizzie's head. Personally, I think they shot it that way, and then AMC just made them take it out of the episode. They made them edit it out, but you can comment on whether or not you think that they intended to show us the actual deaths. In the end, though, I'm glad she's dead. If you did not hate Lizzie before this episode, then this was the last straw. I have no idea where they would have gone with her character had she lived and made it to Terminus. It was almost like she was turning into a crazier version of the governor. I mean, think about it for a second. She was going to kill baby Judith, and when she confessed as much, I just wanted Carol to shoot her right on the spot. So, one last bonus WTF moment. Carol finally confesses to Tyrese. I love how you can just see the murder on his face as he's shaking the table with his grip, but he's wrapping his brain around it and totally forgives her, not to say that he will ever forget. I love his quote though, "It's a part of you now. Me too." It's a big callback to Tyrese's earlier talk with Carol about the dead talking to them, and Carol's answer that they're not haunting them, they're just reminding them of what they have to do. I think we're meant to take away that Tyrese isn't going to harm Carol in the future, but they're never going to be pals the way they might have been had the awful things not happened in this episode. Tyrese wanted to stay in that cottage so bad. How ironic that he said he wasn't ready to be around people when Carol then said Lizzie cannot be around people. Let it not go unsaid, though, the thing that I was most excited about in this episode was baby Judith not dying. As awful as everything was, that did make me happy. But now it's your turn. Let me know, what was your biggest WTF from the episode? Was it the big deaths, or was it the craziness that preceded it? I do have to say, each successive Lizzie moment increased my stress levels exponentially. Overall, I give the episode an A for having the guts, so to speak, to kill off two major characters in a way completely faithful to the comics, with minor exceptions for the second death. As an asterisk, though, I have to give Lizzie's performance a C for acting. I knew what the actress was trying to convey. She's like the Joffrey of the episode, and the problem is that when they're supposed to make you hate them, which they do beautifully, you end up hating them so much that they're almost unbearable to watch. Micah's performance was a fresh breath of sanity. Get your gun. I would have liked to see the deleted scene that preceded her stabbing. Maybe it'll be on the DVD, maybe not. But I don't think that even HBO would have shown a child stabbing another child. Even on Game of Thrones, when Arya killed that boy in season 1, they kind of cut away really quick. I'll say that the child acting I did love in the episode was when Micah was comforting Lizzie the first time and they chanted in unison. It reminded me of the creepy twin girls from The Shining. Did anyone else get that vibe from them? I also really loved Tyrese's performance in the episode. I almost felt like he had the hardest job, aside from killing a child. He had to convey all these emotions without really doing anything. His character is not a good communicator, so a lot of his performance has to be physical. And that last scene with Carol was just beautifully intense. So now let me know what you thought of the episode. Are you happy that Lizzie's dead, even if it meant that Micah had to die too? In other news, I'll be posting that Q&A video tomorrow night. All you have to do to participate in the giveaway is be a subscriber and leave a comment. In the meantime, click here to get my predictions for the rest of the season. A couple of those big questions that I had were actually answered in this episode, but there's still a couple things that haven't happened yet. And click here to get that Q&A video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.